So my sagang labo position is what? Fingers to the eye. What's next? Shield. Very good. What's next? Control. Exactly. Once I get this control, I hook first before I hit. 1, 2. As I hit, I want to scoop right underneath and hook the neck. Bring them to me. 1, 2. Hit and scoop from underneath. Hook that neck. Once I get to this position, I don't keep this hook and then hit. I want to open up this line for me right here so that he doesn't see where this one comes next, right? So remember, the purpose of the blade is to thrust and slash, thrust and slash. So if we can understand the principles of thrusting and slashing, this is slashing upwards, this is thrusting towards me. So this hooks that into them. Okay, this gives me the control so that this arm can't come back because it's locked in. They also have the blade against the neck. This is classic Pikiti Tertia. Okay? And again, release this arm, don't break it by continuing to hook and then break. I want to release it as I cut out and come underneath and then hook. Okay, so next one. Entry is still the same, nothing changes. From here, as I go, I pin them, close kuching. Because they have a blade, I have to understand that I want this more towards the forearm and not towards the bicep. Okay? Once I get to the forearm, Sinawali all day long until they cover. Once they get this cover, this is your arm drag. From the top, I pull, release the pin, drag them all the way this way. First break, straight onto that tricep. Please release the arm. Do not hold the arm. So one of the things that I wanted to kind of back up on is because the Minangkabau people are so tiny, they use the full weight that comes right down on the extremity. So the one we did previously, where I did my heel kick and I sit, this is the nice way. This is okay. This is compliance. I see somebody coming, I kick, that's the full break. Same thing on this one. When I take them down, it's fully onto that forearm. Because I want to make sure, again, because somebody has a blade, I want to monitor what that blade is doing. Once we get to this position, close kuching right away, find that forearm. Isolate that blade for a second before I start wailing on them. Thrust, slash, thrust. Everyone understand this? This is basic module 1. When they cover, grab that arm, squat, right leg goes back before it comes straight down onto that 1, 2. As I go, that slashes all the way through before I turn and say, what's in that direction? And I sweep it. We're back to the same thing. That's the first one. Second one, as we go, when I come back in this direction, it's because I want the attention here for a second before I sweep.
Smell my feet.
Smell my foot, yes. As we work the body, go ahead and crush onto that bicep until they rotate towards you. Grab the head, turn that knee into the head, kick all the way through. Same entry from the previous one. Same thing. As we go, as you take them down, from here, I'm going to take my right leg, kick through the face first before I go like this and drag them. I want to feel this blade right on top of my thigh first because I need to monitor this blade again. When I turn, I'm going to flatten the top of my foot. I'm going to take my shin, go right across their bicep. This is your open boy position. Okay? Because I still have a blade, I can go ahead and still work my Sinawali, or I can go ahead and open up the whole body for me. This is smothering the jawline with my forearm, serrating it right across. Added bonus of all of this slashing and thrusting. Next position is I can still use my knee to kick, or we're just going to go into my closed cat position. This is just bargaining from here. Still working Sinawali if I want them to really bleed like a fountain. Okay? Where sometimes you see the rest of the art That is your open cat to stand. Same entry. As I go, I slash, take them down. From here, take my right leg. I can still kick all day long if I want to, but I want to get to the face. Drag this arm back so it bends. Collapse into open boya. If you notice, when you put the pressure on this bicep, the head comes up for a second. That gives you the added bonus of this. You still have that kick. Close kuching right here. Staying in front of them, trying to analyze what angles are these. Well, if I'm moving and they're moving, can I get to my quarter position? Yes or no? Can I still go? Can I still chase? Can I still monitor the room? That's the key. I no longer see a person, I see angles. We're working some Sagang Lobo entries. Once I get them, I'm gonna sweep them down and then I'm gonna capture that arm.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. First and foremost, thank you very much for having me and hosting me. This has been such a journey being able to, one, make it out across from my hometown from California, but also being able to connect with these two individuals who have given me the opportunity to say, we want you to represent Pakiti Tersha in a way that we can speak to the different arts that maybe you guys have been able to touch upon, but also connect that with my other favorite art, which is Silat, right? It's hard to find Silat sometimes because when we were exposed to it in the West, a lot of it was still very much behind closed doors. A lot of FMA was also taught behind closed doors, right? With the advent of the internet and really great teachers like my instructor, Guru Alvin, and of course, your lineage from Tohono Apollo, those are the people that I seek. The ones who are like, let's just break down the door. Let's give you the art so that we can actually have a conversation and play on the floor in a nice, meaningful manner and not just, here's some sticks, let's just get to sparring. Without the cultural context, right? Because we have to know where we came from in order to know where we're going. That's always my thing. So, with that said, the culture aspect is very important with the Silat that we learn here, or that you're going to learn here, but where we learn this Silat from. So, it comes from the Minangkabau people, and one of the things I was just telling these guys was like, I think it was such a great journey for me to find this version of Silat because the Minangkabau people are matrilineal, and everything's passed down from the women all the way down. It's not that the men are second in line, but it's one of the very few cultures in the world that's still like that. And they're very much revered from the female perspective. So I took that to heart. I was like, hey, this is really cool. I'm training this. And I get to pass it along to you guys, right? With that said, let's just kind of get acclimated with the floor again because a lot of the cultural context is important to me. Like when you learn Pakiti Tersha, where it comes from, why it's taught the way it's taught. The Minangkabau people are also farmers. So it's not a ground art, but they're really adept at sitting in our lovely squatted position all the time because we're working, right? So when we're working the fields, it's the same way like in the Filipino martial arts, right? A lot of the times we are farmers. We're used to sitting like this even up until our 80s and 90s. When we introduce this to the American culture, because we no longer sit like this, sitting on a chair, we have to reintroduce all the auxiliary muscles and how to get back to the floor, back to the foundation, back to where we started.
Again, Guru Janel, Guru Alvin, and team, everybody who's guests here to visit with us. Thank you guys so much from the bottom of our heart for taking the time with us to share your knowledge with us. We're very, very grateful for that.